Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Magic Sock video podcast. This week's episode is entitled Mana Burn, Intimidator, and Gleemax. So here's the first situation. You can see that I have a Sliver Highlander deck playing against an artifact heavy Highlander deck. I have a Worship in play. Got a Watcher Sliver, Synapse Sliver, Brood Sliver, and a Crystalline Sliver. I have 1 life. My opponent has Darksteel Brute. She has a Solomon Simulacrum, a Spectral Searchlight, Ring of Gix, and Icy Manipulator, and some land. So here's how the situation played out, and let's see if you know what the correct ruling is or not. So my opponent, on her turn, let me just set this up here. My opponent uses the Spectral Searchlight and basically targets me. And the question is, this is done on my main phase. I have Worship in play. I'm at 1 life. Okay? I have 1, let's see what Spectral Searchlight does. Choose a player. That player adds 1 mana of any color he or she chooses to his or her mana pool. So now I have 1 mana of any color I want. I have no cards in hand. I have no way to spend the 1 mana. I'm going to take Mana Burn. The question is A. I should say the answer for this question is A. When I take the Mana Burn, is it damage? So that the worship damage that would reduce your life total to less than 1 instead reduces it to 1 if you control a creature, which I do. Or B, is it loss of life and the worship will not work and I will die? What do you think the answer is? The correct answer is you take loss of life and you die. I did not know that. I made a newbie mistake, had to look it up, and found out that I was wrong, and that's what happens. You croak. So that's one situation. So now, let's load something else really quickly. Okay, let's jump on to another deck, and let me see if I can pull this up here. Here we go. Okay. So we're looking for a new Future Sight card. There it is. And we'll put a couple creatures into play. Now, got a bunch of land in play. A Boldwin Intimidator. And it doesn't really matter how much land I have in play for this example. And just a few creatures. The question is, if you have, and let's look at this guy. First, let me get rid of this Faith Fetter so you don't get too confused. Let me clone this guy, put him over here, and we don't have a Crystalline Sliver, and we don't have a Worship. Okay, now, Boldware Intimidator, Creature Giant Warrior, Cowards can't block warriors. 1 red, target creature's type becomes coward until end of turn. 2 colorless and a red, target creature's type becomes warrior until end of turn. Situation is, my opponent also has a Boldware Intimidator into play and has some red. Now, can I, A, use the effect, and let's say pay 1, 2, 3, 4, to make my opponent's 4 creatures cowards, and then I use 1, 2, 3, let's say to make him and the Boldwire Intimidator, both warriors attack and win the game because my opponent has 4 cowards now. What happens in response to my opponent? She has a Boldwire Intimidator, and let's say she wants to use his ability to make creatures warriors. So let's say she pays 3 to make her Boldwire Intimidator a warrior. Can she block, let's say, my Intimidator attacking? It's a warrior, but I had already made all her creatures cowards. So the question, to kind of firm it up here, is if a creature is a coward creature type, can another Intimidator make that creature a warrior? Or does the creature become a coward slash warrior? Meaning they would have two creature types. What happens in this case when you have two Bold War Intimidators in play? The correct answer is the creature type is overwritten and does not become two different creature types. So in this example, whoever does the last targeting on a creature, whatever that is, that's what the creature remains. So in this example, let's go back here. For me, if I use the effect and I made 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures, all cowards, my opponent, in response, after I did that, could then use their own Intimidator and pay 3 and overwrite the creature being a coward and make it a warrior again. They could do that to any creature. I just, in this example, just used that. So you can't have a creature become coward slash warrior. It's either one creature type, and whenever the last activation was, that's what the creature becomes. Okay? That's a little bit of a trick. And finally, we're going to talk about Gleemax. It seems that this guy received a rubber brain in the mail from Wizards of the Coast. So here's a picture of it. There's the rubber brain. On the rubber brain, written backwards, it says Gleemax@wizards.com. When he sent an email to Wizards at Gleemax@wizards.com, let me just pull this down real quick. He actually received a response from Gleemax in the mail. I don't want to read too much of this because we're running out of time. But basically, let me just show you. It's pretty fun that there's some kind of viral promotion that's coming together, and here's the thread of Gleemax. And basically, it ends with, you will have a high place in the new world. Further instructions to follow. So again, something's going on with a promotion from Wizards of the Coast with a squishy brain and written backwards on the brain. Some people are getting this in the mail. They claim it says Gleemax@wizards.com. So pretty funky. So check that out. And as always, keep playing Magic. Thanks so much.